around the fence. Kadang dia test goyang-goyang. Tengok dia punya strength, so, tahu cara nak panjat kat mana. Kat atas tu ada kawat berduri, and they may test kat mana ada dia punya lubang. Sebab apa? Our plant is very, very sensitive. Okay. Okay. Satu lagi minta supply. Okay. Jadi dia tahu tempat kita ada that chemicals. They will go inside as either menyusun as a operator, as a sales, so on, and silap-silap dia menyelinap ke tempat-tempat yang sensitif. And banyaklah. And sekarang dulu macam ni lah dia punya pas. Kadang tak ada magnetic pun, tak ada data-data pun, tengok saja. But now we have biometric and so on that secure. So be careful with this thing. Dia tak boleh masuk ikut pagar, ikut pintu, ikut pagar and so on. As long as they can get what they want. Because they have done the survey. Okay, kilang kita ada apa? What else? Siap. Apa yang kat mana chemical tu, dan senang dia masuk dan menyelinap saja dan cari kita pun and curi barang-barang tu. I will tell you what are the chemicals that they would like to take. Okay, di dry run. Apa itu dry run? Dia cuba-cuba test. Dia dah buat survey, buat check pagar, and then the dry run check sama what is our response. Kadang ada alarm, goyang-goyang ada alarm, and dia tak jadi. So kalau tak ada alarm, kita check apa, pura-pura nak panjat dekat pagar, tak ada respon juga. Rupanya kamera kita padam daripada control room ataupun orang couldn't be bothered. Okay. Why they target kami ke pelan? Satu, chemical can cause harm, and this chemical boleh jadi senjata bagi mereka untuk buat apa? Untuk merosakkan atau banyaklah kidnapping, apa panggil tu yang saya tak remember. Sebagai inilah. Okay. Dapat chemical, use a chemical weapon. Toxic industrial chemical, and then biological origin. This chemical ni very, very hazardous, and then can be used as to threaten somebody, to threaten the company, and get the ransom and so on. Okay. Okay. Apa yang ada kita dalam plan kita? Crude oil. Crude oil, apa? Boleh terbakar. Petrol boleh terbakar. Kerosin boleh terbakar. Benzin boleh terbakar. Dan juga very hazardous. Can cause cancer. LPG can explode. NGV, ethylene, ammonium nitrate can explode. These are flammable. And then you have toxic ammonia, chlorine, benzene, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide. Kita semua ada dalam kita punya kilang. Okay. Those are the thing that kita kena jaga. How macam mana kita nak jaga? Because in the organization we have safety and the security, and these two things must work together. Especially with safety, we know the technical part of the plant, and security they have the authority in terms of security. Okay. Kenapa dia nak buat dengan plant kita? Maybe dia nak explode ya, and then ataupun nak threaten kita kan, and so on. This kita ada nampak ya, kita sebab kecuaian kita, something happen, which sadly happen, and kita tak mahu benda-benda ni berlaku di negara kita. Okay, macam satu ya, kita satu contoh iaitu pipeline kita. That's our pipeline. Nothing to do with the recent one. This is the old one. We have pipeline which spreading from Kerteh, from Kerteh ke Sekamat ke Johor ke Singapura sampai ke Panggang, so on. Kita ada lagi daripada Thailand dan juga sampai merintasi sebelah Thailand untuk supply sebelah northern part. And these are very sensitive. Sebab apa? Menjadi satu tempat, kalau supply if something happen in the middle of the pipeline, in the middle, and that will stop the supply to the downstream. Okay, and macam dah berlaku tadi, and then you have another one is in daripada Kimanis lebih dulu, tapi sudah decommission. Dalam pada itu pun, sebelum decommission pun dah berlaku banyak letupan, ya, Long Sukang, Lawas, Merapuk, and so on, and make it no longer safe to use. Otherwise, this become, sebab dia dalam hutan, tak siapa jaga pun, can be a part of the terrorist punya target. Okay.
Ini ada soalan Jashad.
Ya.
Okay, dalam soalan chat ni, soalan dia daripada Azman.
Ya.
Dalam konteks serangan asimetrik dan peperangan hybrid moden. Wah, soalan ni, peperangan asimetrik dengan peperangan hybrid moden. Sejauh manakah industri petrokemikal Malaysia bersedia dari segi keselamatan fizikal dan cyber untuk menghadapi potensi serangan keganasan yang disasarkan terhadap infrastruktur kritikal tenaga negara? Wah, ini dari somebody yang benar-benar tahu keselamatan dan ni.
Saya pun tak apa tahu tu. Sebagai pemunya kilang, cuma kita mampu pada security, pada internal security, daripada elakkan pencerubah. Juga dari segi cyber, make it as dia punya firewall as good as possible, yang full and so on. Tapi itu pun banyak juga berlaku illegal masuk. There's something kita buat protection, ada orang lagi ban tu kan. Dan itulah kita selalu kena up to date, always up to date. Sekarang AI pun macam-macam jadi. The one don't know how to answer. Okay.
Ini soalan daripada Profesor Azman ni, Azman Aziz ni. Profesor Azman.
Oh, lagi takut saya.
Maksud mungkin maksud peperangan hybrid itu ialah daripada fizikal dan juga cyber.
Okay.
So itu yang dimaksudkan.
Okay, cyber ni. Okay, what I think kita kena kontrol. Kita ada dalam proses, kita ada dia punya central proses, dia punya CPU tu kat kontrol. Ada orang masuk dalam tu bila kita taruh virus ke apa. And that's one thing that we have to deal with. I wish I had somebody that help me. I'm not a cyber expert. Saya cuma chemical saja. Kita lihat di satu tempat ni, di tempat saya kerja dululah. Kita tengok ini ada dua tong. Ni highway lah, highway. Dan sebelah tu dulu saya, office saya kat sini, seberang semua jalan ni. Saya tidak tahu rupanya sini ada amonia. Jadi saya buat simulation, tengok buat simulation pakai ni Aloha saja. Sekiranya berlaku kebocoran, punyalah jauh dia punya the ammonia will travel. And sadly enough, that tank tu betul-betul sebelah highway.
You want to think it's
Okay, sebelah highway. And you see, the gas, the toxic will travel sampai ke tempat perumahan. That if the wind coming from the northern part. Kalau dari selatan ke utara, lagi banyak mangsa kat situ. Cuba kita lihat kita punya wind direction. Kebanyakan dari sini naik ke atas. Kalau dari bawah sini, apa ni panggil? Sebelah tenggara, Asia Tenggara. Dan the gas will go to the tempat perumahan. That will what happen if somebody sabotage the tank. Sebab tu kat situ security should be much more vigilant. Okay. Banyak lagi orang masuk. Banyak. Okay. Chemical. Okay, kita guna chemical. Hari-hari guna chemical. Tapi kita tak tahu rupanya ada kegunaan lain dari segi security. Kita bagi contoh. Okay. Saya buat SIMA report untuk satu kilang agrobase industri kilang. Dia buat paraquat. One of the chemical dia guna is sodium chloride. Letak saja di tengah-tengah tempat kelaluan orang. Kalau pergi lunch lalu kat guni-guni tu lalu kita guni kat situ. Balik lunch pun ada lagi guni kat situ. Kadang terbuka saja. Bayangkan, saya tanya pada supervisor, ni apa ni? Dia kata potassium chloride. I told him, you better keep it in a safe place. Sebab apa? Kalau ada yang marah dengan you, taruh gula, taruh asid dalam guni itu, I think tomorrow morning you don't have your plant anymore. terkejut dia. Because they have been handling this kind of chemical, tapi dia tak tahu the hazard of the chemical in terms of terrorism atau sabotage and so on. Okay, kita cerita ni Bali bombing ni. Amrozi purchase chemical used to make bomb. Dia belilah 1 tan lah. Potassium chloride lah. Beli sikit. And then simpan dalam store. And dia berlagak sebagai chemical salesman. And then dia beli another one, sodium benzoate in acidic. And then chemical, yeah. And then dia campur plus ammonium powder, rupanya dia jadi bom. That what happen kat mana tu? This is Bali bombing. 200 Okay, Bali bombing memorial. If you go to Bali, kat sini tempat dia. Ada lagi orang masuk. Whereby from that chemical, they make sure and become a bomb. And that cause kematian 200 lebih orang. Banyakkan dari Australia. Just potassium chloride saja. Potassium chloride saja. That can become a weapon. Okay. Ini dia tadi. Okay, agro-base. We don't know the hazard. Other than we know this oxidizing agent, tapi beyond that we have not discovered. We don't care to do some research and about these chemicals. Actually, we can make it too explosive. Cuba kita tengok potassium chloride campur gula, campur sulfuric acid, and that's what happened. Itu cuma let's say a kilo. Bayangkan kalau 1 tan macam Bali tadi. What will happen? A big explosion. Okay. Okay, satu hari saya pergi ke somebody asked me to, saya biasa kalau orang buat minta saya buat simak report dululah. Saya dah tak buat dah. Saya akan ask for detail apa chemical dia. Kalau boleh saya nak pergi kilang dia, nak tengok macam mana dia handle. Okay, satu hari saya pergilah, I got an invitation. Ni medical punya supplier. And they use ethylene oxide as untuk berdokuman, sterilizing. And without, disimpan punya tak berkunci, buka gitu sahaja. Dalam store terbuka ya, tak berkunci, terbiar sahaja. Ada yang terbalik, ada yang baring, ada yang berdiri and so on. My goodness. When looking at that, the lack of security, I say I don't want to take this job. Because ethylene oxide can cause explosion. Kita biasa dengar vacuum bomb, apa thermobaric bomb. Dia guna yang ni lah. Dia guna ethylene oxide sebagai bahan untuk thermobaric bomb atau vacuum bomb. Ataupun guna untuk gua bunker ada, guna bom ethylene oxide. Sebab tu this is very dikontrol sangat dalam weapon convention. Tapi kita relax saja sebab kita tak tahu. Kita tahu.
Ini ada satu soalan yang berkaitan dengan Haji Ashad. Daripada Profesor Azman juga. Bagaimanakah kawalan terhadap bahan kimia industri berisiko tinggi seperti amonia nitrat dan klorin boleh diperketatkan bagi mengelak penyalahgunaan oleh kumpulan pengganas? Dan apakah peranan industri petrokimia dalam memperkukuhkan keselamatan rantaian bekalan bahan kimia ini?
Saya tak nampak effort sangat sebab tak ada kesedaran.
Yelah, macam you kata tadi, orang boleh beli bit baik.
Ya, betul. Kita tak nampak, walaupun adalah security, tapi kita tak faham chemical tu apa dia. Apa guna dia, kegunaan dia yang berbahaya, yang kita tidak tahu. Macam ethanol oxide. And US government memang concern ethanol oxide ni. Sebab apa? Dia control. Tengok bila perang dia kata thermobaric bomb. Itulah dia. Dia suck dia. Bila bom meletup, dia suckkan oksigen sampai kita pun tersak juga.
Jadi pihak industri tak boleh nak buat kawalan dari segi mengetahui kimia-kimia yang berbahaya ni yang boleh disalahgunakan ni. Industri tak ada polisi atau apa-apa sekatan.
Boleh kalau dia nak belajar, tapi so far nothing tu. I don't think so lah. Itu yang saya sedih. Tak ada orang yang trigger ni, tak ada yang bagi tahu. Yang dalam pun tak nak ambil tahu. And I was very concerned during my period as a SEMA competent person. Okay, urea lagi senang cari kat ni. Can also make into explosive. Paling senang nanti kita cari urea campur nitric acid, and then taruh apa nama Vaseline. Banyaklah dia punya cara-cara and can become this one. Masa kat Iraq banyak ni. Sebab apa? Iraq produce crude oil, and then urea senang sebab dia untuk baja gandum dia, and make it into ni apa panggil, dynamite. And it happened to one of us masa our transfer from our camp to the airport dia nyari hampir lah cuma meletup kat depan kereta kami, tapi jauh we are not affected. After the US Army pass through, and kita ada kat belakang, maybe delay explosion, they explode in front of us. Satu lagi, ini apa kita cushion kereta kita dibuat daripada isocyanide campur polyol, so those things become campur carbon dioxide, and it become kita punya cushion. Isocyanide become macam itu ibu roti jadikan foam tu ibu roti of the combination, so become a foam untuk kita duduk atas kerusi seat kereta. Tapi isocyanide ni is very toxic, right? And they just biar je lah tempat lalu lalang tu, dia punya botol ke apa semua, and didn't care to keep it in a safe storage. Bayangkan ada orang ambil satu botol taruh kat restoran ni, and so on. Feel very scary because not knowing the hazard of this chemical. apa ni dah cerita tadi. Ammonium nitrate. Ini satu lagi. And kita banyak ammonium nitrate guna untuk baja, buat baja. Tapi one of the use of the ammonium nitrate is buat letupan. Satu hari tu ada one company minta ask for advice from me how to store ammonium nitrate dalam company dia. Bila saya minta cakap pasal consultancy fee, dia tak panggil saya dah. I don't know what happened to the company. Because ammonium nitrate tak boleh store sembarangan. Tak boleh store pakai dinding besi, tak boleh. High temperature tak boleh, and so on. Dia punya property banyak that to prevent it from explosion. Ada orang curi satu guni ni and make it something else. That will be a different story. Onia Beirut. This one, they didn't know. Dia tak tahu apa benda ni. Dah bertahun dalam tu, then suddenly bergegar atau meletup. Because kat Arab, it's very, very hot. And that causes letupan. This is another classic. When I was in Methanol Labuan. That was New Year's Eve. Kapal kita sebelah sungai. Laut. Jadi New Year's Eve dia happy lah main flag gun home. And then it have flare tu turun cantik ya, ditiup angin. Jatuh in between our chemical tank, methanol tank. Tapi sebelum dia jatuh kita dah siap dengan fire hydrant dah, just in case. Tapi alhamdulillah lah, nothing happened. That's flare and drone. Drone ni satu lagi. I think we need to have regulation on regard to drone, especially di kawasan chemical plant. Macam Kertih, Nasi Gudang, Gebeng, all those Pitulu, and all those things, kena ada regulation with regard to drone. Mungkin ada, tapi not being enforced enough. Ada lagi terbang banyak. Kalau dibawa bom ada. Okay. Sepanjang saya bertugas, ada banyak konflik tau that we need to settle between safety and security. Banyak konflik that susah juga, tapi you have to handle it very professionally. Contoh saya selalu berdiskus dengan security, tapi disebabkan security tak apalah tu. Buat label lah. Label everything so people can recognize the hazardous chemical. Security kata jangan label, nanti orang kena itu and become target for attack. Satu lagi, apabila when there's an emergency and bomber, what bomber do, they just look at the label of the tank. Oh, situ bahaya kata. Especially kalau ada NFA diamond, very easy to recognize the hazard in the chemical. Tapi kat Malaysia ni, that diamond tu orang tak attractive sangat. To me, it's very useful. It's early identification of the hazard. HFS, health, fire, and stability. of the chemical. Kalau health tu 4, makna dia very toxic. Kalau fire tu 4, maknanya very flammable. Easy to understand, easy to handle. Betul ke? Less community. Jadi kita tahu responder tahu. Sharing location and chemical and publicize target for the type of attacks. Okay. Share knowledge about chemical so that people know. Okay. One of the requirement for one of the elements in the PSM is that process safety information. We have to list down the chemicals, dia punya function, dia punya hazard and so on, and share it to the people. Tapi security sharing knowledge could inspire harmful behavior. Boleh juga. Macam yang saya cakap tadi at the beginning yang potassium chloride tadi. Kalau tak cerita semua tak tahu kan. Tapi bila dah cerita kata ni peluang nak nak buat jahat kat bos ni. That's one thing. And then people need to be able to live quickly via many routes. Ini lagi klasik ya. Kita ada at least dalam kilang at least ada tiga pintu. Satu pintu admin, satu pintu produk, satu lagi emergency gate. 3. Tapi bagi security pula banyak sangat pintu, susah nak kontrol dia. Ya, tak juga. And this one we have to discuss with security how to handle this issue. Okay, label tank. You have okay. You see, this is the tank. Biru is a health. Kalau 4 tu very deadly. 0 is tak ada effect on your health. The fire, kalau 4 tu is fire very flammable and explosive, very explosive, and stability. So where I work, I try to put this like some of the plants kita taruh ni, and bomber very happy. Kita masuk je ke plant, kami dah tahu merah, biru, merah, kuning tu kita berapa nombor dia, so on. Okay. Locking, macam ni security nak berkunci, tapi safety tak nak kunci sebab senang nak escape in the event of emergency. There is another conflict. Okay. Tapi security tak nak, dia nak control all exit. To us, you must run away, exit as fast as possible. Okay. Ini jarang ada. Tapi if you go to storage, especially gas bottle, kadang kalau SHO tak concern sangat, tong hidrogen masuk dalam tong oksigen sama-sama satu kumpul. Unless dia tahu this is a compatibility punya chart, and it is very recommended that especially orang lab ajar safety people how to read this compatibility compatibility chart. Okay. Priority. Kat mana kita nak priority dia? Okay. Kat lab. Kat lab tu segala jenis chemical ada. Okay. And then kena ada policy procedure suitable to that lab. Tak boleh lah macam katalah saya dulu kat ethylene plant minta kat refinery and then tukar logo sahaja. That is not possible because refinery punya lab tak sama dengan ethylene punya lab. Apa tu ammonia plant punya lab tak sama. And format boleh tapi the content shouldn't be the same. Okay. And then use risk-based security and safety measure. So kena ada security punya risk assessment and then as well as safety risk assessment. Okay. Identify the threat that possible threat that may arise from the chemical that we operate. Be alert for suspicion. Tahu macam mana ni ya? Kadang tak boleh cari sangat lah. Especially orang baru, visitors and so on. That's why visitors must be controlled only at a certain place. Tak boleh lah berlegar-legar di kawasan sensitif. Okay. So security, all chemicals must need to be secured. Small research lab, manufacturing plant, and so on. And kena selalu buat risk assessment with regard to safety as well as security. Workplace, compliant, wellness, environment. Saya sepanjang saya pergi jarang ada security punya assessment. Adalah sekali-sekali dalam 2-3 tahun sekali. Jarang ada. That is not not a good position, not a good situation. And both of these must have a regular risk assessment. Kena ada orang luar. Kalau kita dari dalamnya kata feel ingatkan dah okey dah, rupanya kita tak okey. Complacent. Okay. Safety assessment between safety, security and the staff. Kita nak ada understanding what are the hazard. Must practice the PSM, process safety supervision. Semua kena tahu tu. We must share information for all these chemicals. Understand the way of the hazard that may be exploited by terrorists. Okay. We have chemicals and then we have the use as industrial use and they have terrorist use. Kita kena faham tu. Don't only think about the safety for the people. Think also about the security. And the consequence, what will happen kalau benda ni dapat pada di tangan orang yang tak bertanggungjawab. And macam mana understand how facility might be attacked or sabotage to release hazardous material. Macam ammonia tank tadi yang tepi jalan. Kalau ikut saya, that is not acceptable. And extend the effectiveness of the process safety design. Okay. I live in a maximum security punya area, and I used to live there. Setahun duduk situ. The security is very tight. Kat luar tu korang lagi. So, and with that, I think, jadi I've finished my presentation. I leave it to you. Open for discussion. Yang saya boleh jawab, saya jawab lah. Yang tak boleh kita, if you have the answer, share us with the answer. Walaupun simple, tapi benda ni critical. To me, very critical. Everybody must know the safety as well as the security aspect. Walaupun kita cuma safety officer ke, and so on. Don't leave thing solely to the security officer. Sometimes they don't understand chemicals. We have to admit that they don't understand chemicals. Kita yang tahu. We have to share our knowledge with them for the sake of the safety and security of our plant. Thank you, Jai.
Yes, thank you, Tanya Arsyad. Bagi penerangan berkenaan dengan chemical yang boleh disalahguna menjadikan weapon kepada bakal-bakal pengganas lah, sapu atas dan sebagainya. Okey, so soalan-soalan yang diberikan oleh Profesor Azman tadi tu more towards how we manage and control chemical berbahaya ni lah. Dari segi industri kita ada SIRMA, kita ada CHRA dan sebagainya, tapi dari segi penggunaan awam ni yang mana yang boleh buat general purpose ni, tak tahulah sama ada negara kita buat apa sukatan dan sebagainya. Kalau macam kata